about the temperature, we'll keep the door open just so we try and get a little bit of airflow. So I hope you're all enjoying the conference so far. Yeah? Has anybody had the crap detector out? No? No one's needed to use the crap detector yet. Okay, that's good. All right. So my name is Kat, and I'm going to talk to you about using video in the classroom. And before I start talking to you and sharing some of my ideas, I just want to ask, how many of you have a smartphone here? Put your hands up if you have a smartphone. Okay, so that's basically everybody. Okay, and what do you use it for? What do you use your smartphone for? Messaging. Pictures, videos. Okay. Football scores. Okay. Oh yeah. Doing an update on football scores. Okay. So, do you agree then that we've got multiple uses for our smartphones? Yeah. Okay. What about this question? How many of you have registered footage, content that you have created yourselves, whether it be audio or visual? How many of you have registered content on your smartphones in the past 72 hours? So whether that be a video you've sent via Facebook or whether it's a WhatsApp voice message, how many of you have done that in the past 72 hours? Okay. Alright, so that's, again, a fair amount. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is creating video on mobile devices. Okay? Why? Well, I asked you all a question, do you all have a smartphone? And you all said yes. Okay? So we're presuming that our learners also have a mobile device, whether it be a smartphone, whether it be a tablet, an iPad, or whether it be an iPod Touch. And what I'm going to talk to you about is creating video on mobile devices to develop oral skills. Okay, specifically to develop oral skills. Now, we may or you may have been in a situation where you either tell students themselves to put their mobile phones in their bag as they're coming into class, or you've heard other teachers doing this. Okay? In a 5-minute break that we have here in Oxford House between lessons, this is what my students were doing. Each one of them was on their mobile device. So the reason why I'm talking about using mobile devices specifically for creating video is because the students are clearly engaging with their mobile devices anyway. So we're not asking them to engage with something new. We're not asking them to use new technology. We're asking them to take advantage of technology that they've already got. And what I'd like to do is to make them aware of different ways that, like Kieran was saying, that they can incorporate technology they use out of the classroom, in the classroom, and vice versa. So I want them to bring the outside world into the classroom. I want to encourage autonomous learning by encouraging the students to take their footage that they've created, and I'll go on to explain that in a minute, and to take that outside, to produce their own footage outside of the classroom. And also, the use of mobile devices, we're meeting learner expectations. Maybe learners don't expect these days to just look at a textbook. Maybe they expect a bit more from their English classes. If they have a device that they're glued to and that they use for all of their daily needs with communication, then why shouldn't they be using this also in the classroom? Why should we have a boundary at the classroom door? Okay? Somebody who speaks very highly of the affordances of using mobile devices for learning is Pegram. And the reason why he does, he says, the devices are mobile. So if, for example, we wanted to create video content in this classroom, we might need a computer for each student or group of students. But by having a mobile device, we're actually making it more convenient because the devices are mobile. Even if not all of the students have a mobile device, at least one between 2 or 3 would. Okay? And then the learners are mobile, so what are we doing there? Learners are able to engage with material while they're on the move. So they're taking advantage of moments when they'd maybe be engaging with less cognitive activities, maybe playing games or messaging, okay? And they can be engaging with learning material while they're on the move, commuting or waiting for a lesson, or they're at home, okay? And also, the learning is mobile, so it's a little bit like situational language learning. We can actually take the learning out onto the street. So instead of recording in the classroom, we can record outside of the classroom and have genuine, real footage, authentic footage. Okay, so how does all this relate into what I want to talk about? Well, I asked the students, I've tried this with several different teaching contexts, okay? And what I'm going to show you today is a kind of experiment or a project, if you like, that I'm working on with an FCE exam preparation group, okay? And they were worried about their performance in the speaking exam particularly, because when we have activities in class and we're engaging and they're talking and we have small talk and at break time, everything's fine and they feel comfortable. But the minute I give them an exam task, they freeze up. They don't feel comfortable. And you'll see some of the footage. So I thought, okay, this is something that we need to find a solution for. So I put the learning, if you like, I tried to make it more student-centered, less teacher-centered by guiding the students. And I said to them, so when we talk with somebody face-to-face, what is important? What do you think is important? Okay? And these are the brainstormed ideas that they came up with. I divided them onto two sides of the board, but these are the ideas that the students came up with. Okay? So I separated them into speaking and body, so we've got the metaphysical and the paralinguistic features, and they agreed that all of these were important when we were talking face-to-face and engaging with somebody. Okay? We discussed at length why they are important. I started to ask them whether they thought that they did these things when they were talking. Okay, when they were talking, I gave them, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the Cambridge exams, but I gave them part 3 of the FCE speaking paper where they have a diagram and they need to reach a decision. Okay, and we really thought about all the things that they should be doing when they are talking. So, what do you think happened when I decided to record them?
They climbed up.
Okay, let's see. I really hope this footage works. And it doesn't. I don't believe that.
No, there is.
Okay. Well, luckily, I made a provision for the technology not working, and I took stills. Okay, so I had 5 pairs of students, and I've taken a still from each pair of students. Okay, so I'll just run you through those. Okay, so obviously here we can't hear anything, but if we're looking at the physical features of engaging, are they engaging with the person they're speaking to? How is their body language? Awkward? Or is it that they're
Forced.
forced, yeah? Anything else?
Nervous.
Nervous, maybe nervous, yeah, they have the exam task. Okay, the reason why I recorded and not them is because we're beginning with this. They did record an excerpt and the recording wasn't very good quality, so I used my own recordings. Just a note for you that if you are going to record in class, I used a mobile phone, and if you just use the mobile phone like this, you get all of the background hiss. However, if you just plug in the headphones with a mic and you hold the mic near the students, it cuts out the background chit-chat and you can focus just on the students. Okay, so we're not talking about, you know, high-tech equipment here. So, and that really did work, and hopefully some of the other footage you'll be able to see and you'll be able to listen to. Okay, so the students then discussed the clips and they discussed the stills, and what I did was I sent all of the content to the students so that they were able to keep it and so that they were able to watch it several times and analyse and look at their performance, okay? I will put these slides on my blog, but I will eliminate the pictures. The students have given me permission to use it today, but to not be publicly on the web, so you will be able to refer to that. So the students have a record of their performance, and they're starting to think about what they are doing. So this is where the reflective practice takes place. They're actually looking at themselves. I'm not sure if any of you ski or snowboard. Yeah? Okay. Have you ever done video correction? Anybody? No? It's really widely used within skiing and snowboarding because you don't know how you're descending the mountain unless you see how you're doing it. And video correction is a massive tool that they use in skiing and snowboarding instruction. So it's the same thing. We're using video here as a corrective tool, and because we're creating our own video of the students' performances, we're not exploiting ready created video and saying this is what you should be doing. We're recording the real performance and saying this is what you are doing, okay? How can we change this? All right? It's hot. Okay, so what we did was we left it, we analysed it, but we left it for a couple of days, and then I gave them the task again, but obviously from a different past paper, and we'll have a look. I really hope these books work. They worked in... Yeah, okay.
I really like to new plates, but my favorite restaurants are Mexican and Japanese restaurants.
I like
Okay, and the next one? No, that one doesn't want to play. Yeah, it's not, I don't know, Kieran, you had problems as well, didn't you? Yeah.
I think there's a plugin missing.
Yeah, okay. I can actually... oh. Okay. What do you think about it?
I think the same, and I agree with you. I think that going to a restaurant is nice. If you don't have to do anything, you just book
You are so lazy and you want to say everything and don't do all the research if you want and you have afford it, so we don't need to do it out.
We have no experience trying new things, being in different places.
You sometimes can go out and also when you eat.
Okay, and there you also got to see my really inobtrusive hand, just to demonstrate the technology that I was using. Okay, so just to go back then to the presentation. So I said to the students, when we're watching the video, what do you think you'll be looking for? And they said, well, obviously we're looking to see if we do all of those things that we mentioned. Okay. Now, did you notice a difference between the first stills and the clips? I mean, I know obviously one was static, one was dynamic, but did you notice a difference with the body language? Okay.
They seem to be facing each other more than
Okay.
facing forward.
Yeah.
Slouching or
Yeah.
leaning around.
Okay, so they were engaging a bit more. Okay, I did this 2 days after, so they were engaging a bit more, and they'd obviously had time to digest what we had been talking about in the class. So I said these are some points that you need to consider. So how do you think you come across? What do you think? Now I really engage, I really look in my partner's eyes when I'm talking to him. You know, and then to look at the content and say, okay, how do I really come across? Okay? So that's quite the big difference, what you think you do and what you really do. Okay? Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a reality check because they've got the footage. Okay? They can watch it as many times as they want, they're in control, and they can pause it as they like. Do they like what they see? Are they happy with their performance? Maybe they think it's fine. Do they want to change something? And if so, what? Okay? So these are the points that I gave the students to think about. And then we left the activity for about a week. Okay? So they'd already had a kind of replay after 48 hours, and then we left it for about a week. So I spoke to them a lot about the viewing process, observation. So, as we said, you know, you have real life footage. The camera never lies. And you can use that as a barometer for future recordings. This is how I used to speak, and now look at how I speak. You know, that's great. That's fantastic. And short clips as well. That enables the students to refer back easily. They can be saved easily on a mobile device. They can be watched again, like we've said, while we're on the move. Okay? Observing makes us aware of our performance. Okay? And that is really, really important. Unless we look at ourselves, then we can't be aware of what we're doing. Okay? And it also enables us to detect areas for improvement. Okay? Which then moves me on to the reflection. Okay, so when we're reflecting, we're thinking about our performance and any changes we might want to make. Now, we're doing this in a classroom situation, and the feedback, because the students are creating the material, okay, the feedback is coming from the peers. And that's particularly interesting because it promotes active intervention and the students engaging together, and it also they want to impress each other. So it's kind of pushing them to, well, I can do this. You know, we've all brainstormed and come up with these features that we should be including, and I really can do this. Now look at my demonstration of this, okay? If they want to share them amongst each other, then that's fine, but they own the content, and that is up to them. So the viewing process is extremely important. It's, you know, they create the content, obviously it's just on a mobile phone or a mobile device, it doesn't matter about any editing or any finished product, but it's watching it and reflecting. So, reflective practice. Why? Why is reflective practice useful?
It's all about think.
You remember it,
Okay, but reflective practice in general. How many EFL writers talk about action research? Yeah, have you heard of action research? A lot of writers, you know, Harmer, Gebelin, Afrandi, you've got Dick Allwright, you've got Jack Richards, they're all talking about action research. And they're talking about it from the teacher's point of view. You should observe other teachers. You should be observed. You should keep a teaching journal. You should ask your students. You should give them a questionnaire. But what I'm arguing is that we need to make our students reflective practitioners. We need to put the reflection in the hands of the students. So we're here to guide the learning process, but the students are paying, in this case, for an exam pass, and they want to know, are they performing? Are they doing what they need to be doing to get them through the exam and to pass? Well, the only way they can know that, they can't just be judged by the teacher. They need to see it for themselves. They need to understand what they can change or what they can improve. So reflective practice is extremely important for the students, maybe more so than the teachers. So I asked the students, why do you think it's important to be watching these videos? And this is what they said. So they are aware of reflective practice. They are aware of the importance of watching themselves and why we're working on this project at the moment. They see that there will be a result for them. but it's not going to be something that is instant, as you will see. Here's another video clip that's not going to play. So, we're going to go.
I like to try different kind of food and I don't have any
Yeah, for example, when I would like to
Sorry, that's the wrong clip. Oh, this is, I really wish I had known this beforehand, because it's extremely annoying. Video 3, there we are. It's that one.
These percentages and cheaper also
I think in the department store,
yes, also global. And to happen something, with the bolt,
sometimes it's difficult for the size of the book. Yeah, you can follow the back. They are sometimes you have to go to another website because they put some labels for the tour of the book.
Okay, so here we've got the stills of what the students were doing. Okay, and that's just a week later. Now, I gave them target language that they should have been using, and in the second clip that you watched, they were using that target language. A week later, they'd forgotten the target language. They'd also forgotten about body language. A week later. Okay? So if they keep continuously as a reflective practice cycle thinking about this, then there's improvement. But the minute they stop thinking, then you see what happens. So that is why I'm saying action research is really important, because the students need to become aware and they make a plan. What is my plan? What do I want to improve? Okay, do I want to improve my body language? Okay. Then they need to act by recording some footage. Okay. And this can be done as many times as they like. It can be short 20-minute excerpts. That's what I've done here. Okay? They observe the footage and then they reflect. So it becomes a reflective cycle. They plan. Okay? So this is action, research, reflective cycle. They plan. What do I want to do? They detect one particular feature. They record it, they view it, they analyze it, they reflect, and then they correct. Okay? The strategies for correction. How can they do all of that? Well, if they focus on one aspect, okay, we know that if we want to become a better chef or a better cook in the kitchen, we can't learn all of the different methods at once. We concentrate on one particular thing. Well, it's the same with anything. You break it down. So we focus on one aspect, view the footage repeatedly, become aware of the aspects to correct by viewing the footage repeatedly, and then decide how we're going to change them. Okay? And if it doesn't work, keep going. Keep going and keep going. The students need to think about this as being a cycle. They need to be aware of this. They come to class, it's, you know, the typical situation, I go to class, that means I learn. The teacher's there to teach me. If I go to class, I don't have to do anything. They need to interact, but I'm asking them to go one step further. If you like, it's almost like critical thinking. Okay, so we're thinking about the students becoming reflective practitioners. And how can they do that? By taking advantage of mobile devices that you all have, so they all have them. By uncomplicated software, they all have a video recording device. The audio wasn't that bad, you could understand what they were saying, and to try and encourage the learners to do this. And that is the way that I have been using video in the classroom, specifically, as I've said, for the Cambridge speaking exam. And I'm going to persevere with it because I do believe in my students, and I do believe that they will get it once they become awakened to the idea of it being a reflective cycle. So, thank you very much. Are there any questions? Any questions, anybody? Yeah. Everyone's really hot. Yeah.
What about people being camera shy?
Well, the idea of recording it with their friends, they didn't feel camera shy. I did get them to take their phones out and to record each other, but the problem was that they were trying to kind of concentrate on the task and record. And I wanted them to have good footage to be able to analyse. So that's why I said, okay, you go ahead and do the task and I will record. And then what they're going to do now this week is to have 2 students interacting and 1 student recording. But nobody seemed camera shy because they're all there for the same objective. And it's not being publicly exploited. And I said to them, okay, how do you feel about now? We'll watch it. We're all, you know, they were all watching in their groups and then they were showing each other. I said, okay, so let's put it on the projector, if you agree. And they were fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One reason to get over that is I've done it with classes before with business people and presentations in a group. Is that you get the confident ones to do it first. You record the confident person, everybody looks at this person giving his presentation, and then I think that gives the sort of more shyer students that sort of confidence to do it. If everybody else is doing it, I don't want to be left out.
Well, exactly, it's that competition thing, isn't it? It's like if you go to a restaurant and there's one couple in the restaurant, yet the one next door, there are a lot of people in there, you want to be a part of what's happening. You don't want to go to a restaurant when there's just one table. And it's the same thing, yeah, it's like I was saying, this peer work, it works in favour of a healthy competitive element. You know, I can do this, I want to demonstrate that I can. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? We're all really tight because it's so hard to hear. Yeah? Okay, well thank you very much for listening. And enjoy the rest of the conference.